Welcome to online resource. In this video I am going to show you how to install SQL Server 2014. Installation of SQL Server 2014 is not much different from installation of SQL Server 2012. The things that we required in order to install SQL Server 2014 I have written down here. The first thing that we need a media file containing setup of SQL Server 2014. It could be ISO file, or if you have DVD, that's well and good. The ISO file, I'm going to install ISO file enterprise version of SQL Server 2012. 2014. So if you don't have MS10 subscription, I have downloaded the ISO file from Microsoft website. If you don't have the Microsoft website, and you can download SQL Server 2014 evaluation version of enterprise. The second thing that we need that is Windows Feature .NET Framework 3.5. This is very important. The reason is important because if you don't install or add this feature to Windows right in the end of installation 2014, 2014 or 2012, it will let you go through the installation right before it completes. A completed result installation is not complete, and you will get an error, and the error is confusing. The resolution to that the error is really install that .NET 3.5 prior to installation of SQL Server 2014. I have a separate video that shows exact error in the resolution. Installation features. In this demo I'm going to install the database engine, analysis services, reporting services, and management tools. Really the basic installation of SQL Server 2014. There are other features that's available. I am going to put a separate video for those features, and I'm going to, because installation and configuration of those features require that more time. That's why I decided put a separate video. So I will adding this feature after install the SQL Server 2014 here. If you want to follow that how to install those feature and configure those feature, you can follow my other videos. So I have downloaded ISO file. When you download ISO file from Microsoft or MS10 subscription, you can see really the setup file. So you have to convert that into a drive. You can Windows 8.8.1 has a feature. Right click on ISO file to mount that. So let's go through the installation. Go on my computer, C drive, software. Here is my ISO file, that is SQL Server 2014 Enterprise Edition 64-bit. I will right click on that and mount it. It mounted to the next available drive in the system. So you can see the setup file now. Right click on setup and run as administrator. It is going to take a minute just because I am doing out and my laptop, and if you have beefy server or your laptop is beefy, is not gonna take long time. But for this demo I am using my laptop, so it's gonna take a few seconds. So install SQL Server, or if you're planning to upgrade SQL Server 2012 to 2014, this is your frame right here. You can upgrade upgrade advisor, and you see BP rack, all the things you need in order to upgrade from 2012 to 2014 are there. So I'm gonna skip that because just doing a brand new installation, going to install SQL Server in standalone mode. Click on that. If you see here, there are two options. One is install SQL Server in standalone mode, and other is cluster failover cluster. I have other video that will show you how to install SQL Server cluster mode. But right now this installation, we're gonna go ahead with the SQL Server instant alone installation. Click on that. You're gonna check some rules against the operating system that you have. If you there if they are not met, that will give error right now. And here this is a screen that you wanted to use Microsoft Update. Check for update, even though it's recommended, but guys, I don't really use that, because whenever updates I would like to first see what impact of those updates before I install it. If you check this, it's gonna check it and keep bothering you. So I usually leave it alone. Click next. This is same thing that we haven't checked that, so it's not gonna it's gonna ignore that. It's telling you that does not recommend it, so I will forward that or it's all set up file. uh, uh, in this demo it's fine to see the warnings, but if you're doing in production, you need to look at the warnings, because there could be an issue in production environment. But if you even in other in testing environment, you should really look at the warning. For this term, I'm not gonna worry about that, since this is not error. In case of error, it won't let you go next. So if there is an error, if you see in here, you have to fix it before you click next. So I'm gonna install the SQL Server feature installation. Click next. Here we're gonna choose the component that we want to install. So do database engine services. Also gonna install replication, full text, data quality services. We're gonna leave it alone. Install that. Install it later on. Analysis services, reporting in native mode. Some other more services I choose. And here is the directory where it's going to install. In my laptop I don't have any other drive, but you can change your drive for there you have other drive available in your server or in your home network. Click next. Here ask you whether you wanted to go with the default instance name, which is MS SQL Server. It depends on your requirement. You can leave it alone, just default instance. But I am going to use it as a name instance, which is Tech Brothers SQL. If you click on instance ID, it's gonna pick up the ID which you gave the in the name instance, and then SQL Server directory with this SQL reporting services directory gonna be this. So you click next. Here if your domain working for organization, there have a domain, you have service account. Usually all the organization in DBS have checklist to use separate services account for SQL Server agent, service account for database engine, and analysis services, reporting services, so forth. But I'm not connect to any domain right now. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna use the default accounts. But if you use the service account, you would, as soon as you change this ask the password, you need to know the password. If you use the service account for that account, so you need to provide the password here. collation, especially for the folks overseas. If you're not United States, if your requirement or that you want to use different collation than default collation, in case sensitive, I'm gonna keep it that way. But if you need to change it, you can change it during installation, or you can change it after installation as well. And also you have is the server configuration, authentication mode in SQL Server. There are two authentication mode, and one is Windows authentication mode and other is mixed mode, which means the SQL Server authentication mode and Windows authentication mode. If you keep the Windows authentication mode, you cannot create any SQL Server user. So you can change this mode later on as well, but I would recommend you to always use mixed mode. As soon as you click the next mode, it asks you the password, system administrator password, and also you can add of your what account that you want it on this SQL Server instance as a sysadmin. So I click on next mode, as provide as a password should be strong. I'm going to add the current user. If you have more users you want to add, you can add here, and those users. Data directories, this is very important. Again, you need to have your system databases separate from the user databases. Depends on your storage, you can provide that password path. I would recommend you to keep user database data files separate and user database log file, and same with the tempdb. If you can afford more storage, always configure it tempdb bit more than any other databases, because this is most busy databases when SQL Server runs. Backup directory, you can use storage that's not very expensive for backup directory, because backup is going to be there, and that will be fine. Use really expensive storage. File stream, if you want to enable the file stream, depends on your requirement. For your transaction SQL access, you can enable it. I am gonna leave it disabled for this demo purposes. Click next. We're gonna click on next. This is the analysis services. What the SQL Server mode and analysis services mode you want to choose, multi-dimensional and data mining mode. It will let you do the data mining as well as all the OLAP queues and everything you want to do. It's only for the business intelligence, you can do that. You can also tabular mode using Excel add-in and other stuff. And with the analysis services, right now I asking which is going to be admin of the analysis services. You can add current user. If you're connected again with your AD, you can select your user who is going to be analysis services administrator. Same with the data directories for analysis services, or you can change this later on, but since I don't have any other type, I'm gonna keep it default. This is reporting services. It's asking you that if you want to install and configure the same time. My recommendation everyone is just install reporting services. Don't configure during the installation, you can configure it later. That's the same thing I'm going to do. I'm not going to configure reporting services in this video, however I will configure it later. It's gonna show you the summary what's already installed. Mostly they are the SQL Server brand new, but let's say they install this SQL Server once instances, one enter instances, then there would be some features already installed. Then I tell you after they are already installed. Also, this feature going to install right now. These files can be accessed at the following location right here, or you can really copy paste and save this file so that you know what you installed, why you installed, even though you can look at it later, but just for the sake of look at summary. If I click in install, it's gonna install SQL Server and it's gonna take time. I am going to pause the video. When I come back, installation is completed. If I run any into, I will share that issue with that. So I'm going to click on install. It's installing. It's going to take a little bit time. So I'm going to pause the video. Once it's completed, I'll come back this. Hope this video. We are back with the successful installation of SQL Server installation of 2014. As you can see, all the features we have selected during the installation, they are installed successfully. Let's find up the management studio, and we can see. Let's open the SQL Server Management Studio, and can we connect to the SQL Server or not right now. I'm gonna open up Management Studio. When you first time open Management Studio, it's take a little bit time. Here is the instance that we install. I'm going to keep authentication mode, Windows authentication mode. So I'm gonna connect. There it is. SQL Server is online, agent is online. Install SQL Server brand new and keep agent services on manual. So usually it's not started. You can right click on agent and start the agent. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.